you got this special memory. Your memory damn good.
I think it's trauma lah. Memory out of trauma. That's why we develop.
Your memory is damn good.
You think so?
Yeah, your memory is very good.
So when do you first realize your memory is very good?
When you could remember how the guy so young hurt you till today, you could remember.
Put me in the wrong places. Nasty. Okay, but all that being said, I can remember all the details, the contractors, what work they gotta do at what point of time. Then you can like visualize the thing happening in your head, what goes up next, who's gonna screw up where.
Okay.
That's a superpower.
I used to be able to do that also.
Then what happened?
Age, I think.
Hey, you're gearing me up for that already. So must take supplements.
I don't know. No, you just don't need to have too much stress for the next 20 years. Should be fine.
That means you never used the brain enough, right?
My brain was on constant adrenaline rush.
Exciting life you have then. Okay, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Build. So some of you have said that I look very awkward on camera. So today I brought someone familiar here on the show to make things smoother for us. So this is Edwin. We worked together on for the past 3 years on many commercial projects. So Edwin, you want to give a short introduction about yourself?
Hi everyone. I'm Edwin. I actually have my own firm also, Verunt Design. And very fortunate to have met Garrick, and we were able to embark on many commercial projects together.
Okay. You remember when we first met?
Oh, this... Do I need tissue for this?
Yes. I I was in a very terrible state, as you know lah. I was just like finishing my divorce and all that. I was complaining to you every day, and then you remember the stuff that I said to you.
Yes.
And then you saw yourself in me.
I saw that you could get out of that lah.
Yeah. I think at that point of time, you told me something along the lines of, why are you showing the miserable side of yourself, right? Like, who are you looking for to pity you? That one you told me. And I think that kind of like snapped me out of that condition where I started to try and become a better person.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously, it changed my life. It was over beer, right? At the coffee shop at Sembawang.
Really? Yeah. You mean what you're saying?
Of course I mean what I'm saying. Snap out of it immediately. Next day, wake up a different person.
Yeah, I'm glad that it helped you.
So we've been doing projects together for about 3 years now. How's the experience so far?
Actually, it doesn't even feel like 3 years, right? It's like just that day we got to know each other. I think it complements very well, right? Your strengths and what I do.
I think we are looking younger also as the years go by. So I think we're doing something right.
Am I looking younger?
You are. I know for a fact that I am as well.
Yeah.
So I think you set the record for a full fit out Westgate. 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's stressful.
What's the secret behind that?
Actually, I realized, right, in our line, the people mostly, they are either contractors or designers. So for designers, maybe too idealistic in their what they like and all that. They maybe would like certain designs in their projects, but it may not be practical. And for contractors, maybe the other extreme, too practical. And then, but generally, a person's character. So in our line of work, I think the main thing is actually responsibility. No point to have all the ideas and then you can't put it into application. And no point to do everything but without any design element also. And that's where I think the responsibility of a person comes in to try and visualize the whole design and all the way to build works. And timing. I think a lot of people, even in their own life, not necessarily in design, or in interior design, even in their own life, maybe their timing already got issues, time management. So how to manage a renovation project?
Especially since they're like up to 80 workers at one site.
Yes.
That's mad.
Right.
Yeah, so whenever we submit like worker name list and clearance, it's always a nightmare.
Yeah.
Because if they recruit anyone along the way, oh, sorry, we have to add in another name. Sometimes we lose record of who's coming in.
Yeah.
And all
So
that.
a lot of people do not see, actually a lot of it goes into, like you say, the time management and even people management and rapport building with management, with the security, with even the janitor.
Janitor I've never done, but
Yeah, especially when we do commercial, right? And then the workers is like, they forget to clean their shoe properly or something, right?
have you ever paid a janitor to help clean up?
No. But it's just about rapport. So they gladly just mop it for you after that. So
no
it helps.
extra. No extra. None at all. Not a single.
Yeah, it's all about friendship. No, I've never paid. I've never paid.
Yeah, so are you still in contact with them?
No. I don't know what it is. For that moment. For that moment.
Temporary friends.
Do we meet again? Sometimes we do meet again because sometimes like Oxley or that we go back multiple times, but sometimes the people change.
Good idea. Next time we should call them in to help clean up the site also, right?
Inside no, but outside. So before they get angry and complain all that, I would normally talk to them first. And most of the time they are quite helpful.
So the biggest challenge when it comes to managing commercial projects, right? Which is like the biggest barrier for you. Until today, you still have very hazy over.
I think it depends. Every site got their own different challenges because some of them, I think, the management regarding the worker name list can be a big issue. So sometimes the worker is not available on MC and then we got to get another worker and his name is not in the system. That makes it a bit challenging to rush and get his name approved. So for those commercial areas where they are so sticky on all the worker lists, I think that would be one of it. Others will be, some of them is like they got different kind of working hours because they are a commercial unit, but maybe they are too near or they got a mixed residential unit on top. So your noisy work, the timing is too short a period. So it will affect our timeline. I would think offhand would be these few. The rest of it is within our own ability to manage.
I think we got caught in a few situations where we end up having to direct our subcontractors' workers. I think that's the worst thing that we can ever end up in.
Yes, that's why most of the time, most of our contractors that we work with, our subcons, we work with them for many, many years. That is one of the most important that helps in our project management also. Because sometimes you have people that can give you very attractive pricing and all that, but if you have not worked with them before, I'd rather not take the risk because it's like it can really affect our whole project.
You have once kicked a brick wall down. So what's the story behind it?
I cannot remember. I don't know why you keep bringing this up. I cannot really remember, but
It's an iconic moment.
But sometimes it's because the workers, right, they don't follow according to your schedule or according to your instructions, and they still just blatantly go ahead and do what they want to do. And for me, I think sometimes it boils down to this responsibility that I have to anything that I do. So when it's not according to what we are supposed to do or how we are supposed to do it, I can sometimes
Walk out the wall down.
not so good lah, right?
Without prior training, still can. I think I remember it was the waterproofing. And then there was the electrical pipe that didn't go up the wall in the right direction.
Oh.
So when you told them to redo, nobody wanted to move.
Yeah.
So I think you went there to kick the brick.
I think they were saying things like, oh, cannot take out, this brick is fixed already, and all that kind of nonsense. So I just showed them lah. That's why I kick it. I remember. Because they said like, oh, cannot, this is a fixed wall, this and that. And just one kick, the whole thing come out already. So that's another thing. I don't know. I cannot stand when the workers just come up with a lot of stupid, ridiculous stories.
My approach would be different lah. More diplomatic, but sarcastic in a way lah. As you have experienced it lah.
Yeah. Now we're on camera lah, so I got more things to comment on that.
Okay. With regards to management, right? Of building management, right? Who was the hardest bunch to handle? Can you remember?
I think the one that we did at that mall, I wouldn't say it's the hardest, but it's because the management, what we have agreed, what we have discussed, and then the next moment he will talk to others as if he never said such things. So sometimes when you meet management that are not very upfront and truthful, it can be quite a challenge because you have already agreed on certain ways to do certain things, and the next moment they deny ever saying such things. So I think you know which mall is this.
Yes. The only solution we can is to sayang the guy when he said, "Oh, I didn't allow you to do this. I didn't allow you to do that," even though he just gave us the green light way before.
Yeah.
So I think the best we can do is just manage the situation, manage the person, and of course show that there will not be any disruption to the operation of the mall itself, and we will clean up after we're done.
Yes. And like I said, it boils down to rapport building. At the end of the day, they're still all right, and everybody is different. So some of them needs to feel differently also. So we have to apply it. So that's why project management is not just managing a project. It's actually managing many aspects of the whole renovation process, from people to scheduling and the people also can be as varied from the subcon workers all the way to management and maybe top management sometimes.
I want to bring you back to your record-breaking project. If I remember correctly that time, the client engaged a designer, a foreigner, who has never stepped foot into Singapore and didn't know anything about the building requirements.
Yes.
So when I received the drawings from her, I had to come up with the entire technical drawing set, which includes like the lighting, sprinklers, and all that. And then we had to do design amendment. And the client, his point of view is, hey, I just need this thing up. Can you help me? So for when I always handle clients, right, I have to figure out from the information, their direction, what are they lacking? And then we have to play catch up and match and make sure the whole thing can move. So to me, that is also like it's like a job lah, basically. Taking care of people and understanding what they lack and what you need to catch up with.
Yes.
It gets tiring also. Very tiring.
That also brings me to, that's why I say we make a good team. You handle certain aspects, and like one of it is the client expectations or client from the design. Maybe as we are building stuff, right, it may not be according to the actual plan, because the site got different requirements or restrictions, and that's where I update you, and then you can also tell the client and manage their expectations or change some of the design. So at least I can still focus on the project and you settle the back end. And that's how I think we were able to do so much. And most of our projects are all, I would say, even regardless how tight the schedule, I think we have always made it for the timeline, right?
Yes, that's our promise, our timeline. So the saying, 装了才修, where did that come from?
Actually, when I first started, right, I had this carpenter. They are the more old-fashioned carpenters, Singapore carpenters, and it was a shock when they went to install the kitchen cabinets, and the alignment was off. There was no water leveling. The finishing was terrible. And when I told the boss, the carpentry boss, he said that what is renovation? 装修。我们装了才修。And that's where I realized who are the type of subcons that I never want to work with. And it helps. It helps to open my eyes, luckily in the early stages of my life, because in renovation life. Because if in the initial years, right, I had all the best subcons, I may not have learned as much as I learned. And I may not have been open to see the horrible things that can happen. You can't even imagine. You can't even imagine this kind of people exist and they are doing like for 30 years. Yeah.
So we all have different criteria when we run projects. Maybe back then it could be a costing. I'm not sure. But for us, we always look at time, very important. So we rather spend more money to make sure everything is delivered on time. So I'm totally okay with that, because when we advertise ourselves, we are like, wow, one of the fastest in market. So this is something that we need to keep giving our good promises. And it also helps that our vendors are very helpful, supportive, and along the way, they grow together with us.
Yes. Correct. That's why a lot of our vendors has been with us for many years. And like you said that there are maybe some people where they will go for price, cheaper subcons. But for me also from the start, I rather pay more and ensure that the client gets the best in terms of quality and in terms of time also, than to just try and save a bit and then you get all kinds of horrible finishing, delay in their installation. Yeah, I fully agree on that.
So over the years, we had a lot of laughs on site lah. Sometimes up to midnight as well. So I think there was one thing we both shared and experienced. I think it's a memory of your mother telling you to study. Can you tell us what that is?
No, actually, I guess people will eat their words, I guess. Don't anyhow talk what you want to talk. So when I was younger during school days, right, I always joke, right, that I don't mind to be a janitor if I can get paid 10,000 a month or something like that, just sweeping or mopping the floor. And then there we were, Christmas Eve, I think. It was Christmas Eve. And we were sweeping and mopping the floor on Christmas Eve. Actually, it's Christmas Day already because it was after midnight.
Yes.
It was after midnight. And the memory of, eating your words, highly paid to sweep and mop the floor.
Flashbacks are real.
Yeah. So don't anyhow talk.
But
but it's still fulfilling lah. And all these memories, these are good, unforgettable memories lah.
You know what's the good thing about us being the last people to leave the site is where we can really show and check, right, our quality to the extent that we want it delivered. Yeah, even though our guys may not have that same level of, I wouldn't say responsibility. They already did what they had to do. But maybe the more final touch-ups, we should be there to always coordinate and make sure that it's delivered the way we want. I think that's all right. But the sweeping floor one is questionable. But also very
No,
hard
but
to get
because of the
people ask for it,
timeline, the timeline, public holiday, and that is our responsibility. You see, we could have easily waited for the morning, but that is where our responsibility is to do a good job, regardless. And I fully agree. Also, you were saying that you can have all the best ideas, and then you just get people to, we get our other. We can get some guys to just video the job site and everything for us, or just help us to check. But it's not the same. Everything looks good on video. You have to be on site. That's what the ID really, really is. You really have to be on site, even as it progresses, and especially towards the end, to ensure that it's exactly what the client wants. Yeah.
And one of the perks of the job is that we know exactly the mall's directions and whatever inside out. Right? If I ask you, hey, I want to go to this part in this, for example, you will know exactly which lobby to park at.
Yeah. But maybe I don't want to remember too much. Yeah.
I want to put this on record that clients that engage us and are happy with us tend to do a lot much better in their business. Right or not?
Yes. And it's actually very fulfilling, especially when after COVID, right? We did a few home-based business that move on to retail spaces, and you see them growing and progressing, and then their second shop, third shop, and then they engage us. I think it's nice to be able to grow with them.
Yeah. So I would like to consider us a good luck service provider. Because not only do we help with the setup itself, we also help them think about their marketing and how their shop stands out in the mall itself.
I do not know about luck, but I think to a certain extent there has to be a flow, whether it's a F&B or a retail outlet. There has to be a customer engagement. So it's not just about design, it's about the full thing, from design all the way to how their business with their client engagement flow. So not so much luck, I think. more consideration for others. It's not just about getting the project and earning our money. It's about seeing that they benefit from this whole thing also.
Okay. What would you give advice to a younger person looking to join this industry?
I think go for it, man. I think if this was my first job out of school, it would have been a very different life, a very much better life. Because it's like, there's so many aspects, from people to sales to design, to see the satisfaction of an idea coming to reality. I think it's such a fulfilling line that we are in. So if I could do it all over again, I think it would have been my first job, man.
Well, my advice would be no, don't do it. Because you have to go through the full suite of mental torture before you can become the right person for the role. And also because there's a very very steep learning curve. Right? Some people, if you tell them to get their hands dirty, especially young people, I mean, I was that young person as well. I didn't want to get myself involved in the works. But that's where you truly learn. Right?
Yes, that's why I said, provided a person has responsibility. This line, you can talk about design ideas, creativity, anything you want. But at the end of this whole thing is about responsibility. And if a person has the responsibility, he will make sure what he needs to learn or what needs to be done, he will make sure it's done. So even if the worker is not going to do it, you will do it. But if you don't have responsibility, it's very difficult. That's why sometimes I believe that in this industry, you see a lot of complaints, about certain thing not done properly. I guess nothing can be perfect, but we try to do the best we can for our clients.
Personally, I have some friends in this industry, and sometimes they tell me their stories, their so-called horror stories, but I actually feel bad for their clients. They're the ones with the real horror stories. And I always try and coach them and give them some advice and ask them to think from the other person's perspective. You saying something this way does not serve the end goal of the level of service that you have promised people. So it's not right to do these things.
Yes.
Yeah, you can feel upset. You can feel, hey, my client's taking advantage of me, but that's just feelings, right? Be logical and just remember the promise you give the client and just deliver. Sometimes you putting your ego aside is very important.
But I think, to be fair, maybe sometimes if let's say one or two clients can be a bit of a problem, but if every client complains and then your friends keep complaining about their clients every time, maybe sometimes need to do some self-reflection also. And having said that also, there are clients that can be quite a handful to handle. That is why from the very onset of the whole renovation, right, not every project I would want to undertake. The client has to understand that this is a partnership. This is a partnership that we work together hand in hand from an idea all the way to being built up, whether it is their shop or whether it is their home. And it's very important also for us to listen between the lines what exactly they really, really want. Because sometimes a lot of clients do not know what they want. So if we assume what they want, it may not be the right thing. So we have to read between the lines and try and understand, because that is their home or that is their shop that they have always dreamed of to open. So it's very important we listen properly also.
Do you have a case of a nightmare project? More on the client.
I would say initial stages of my renovation career, because that's why from the experience, there are some clients that I would not want to undertake, regardless of how big the project. So I have clients where they install vinyl flooring, for example, one of it, and they have to put the skirting. So if you just use an adhesive for the skirting, long run, it can actually will not be so solid, it may drop off. So you need to put a very fine nail and then you touch up. And it's like maybe not even 1 mm, maybe. I don't know. The putty for the touch up. I have a client that was like crawling on all fours. I had to crawl along with him initially, using his handphone torch light and going around the whole house looking at this one spot. I think that was an eye-opener. But it's thanks to all this experience that I know who we can work with most of the time. And so if I can, I will try to avoid. Yeah.
A similar story. It's varnishing the main door, right? So I called him an expert. Right? So when he's done, he told me, oh, can you please come and check? So me knowing how the client is, right? And she happened to be there. So I asked her, Madam, can you please come and check? Open up the torchlight, zoom in, take photo. There's a hair from the brush that is embedded in the varnish. So I told the guy, hey, obviously the customer is not very happy. So he redid it 3 times. She did the same thing 3 times. And he said in Chinese after that, I'm not going to do this. You don't have to pay me. I'll leave now. Then she was grumbling. It's like, did I say anything wrong? She was trying to reason with the painter. And me and another guy, we were just laughing in the background. Like, I mean, it wasn't just the door. It happened to a majority of the works that we did for her. So you can imagine how, I wouldn't say happy, but how ironic it was when someone had the courage to tell her that. Yeah, from these kind of experiences, we learn how to profile people. We are part-time psychologists now.
Because it has to be able to work hand in hand with the client. If not, it can't go smoothly.
Most of the times, their willingness to work with you, right?
Yes. So sometimes, to be fair, also maybe personalities mismatch.
True.
So it has to be very comfortable for both parties for the whole project to go smoothly.
I'm sure you had this experience, right? At the start, when everything was, when you and the client are talking about the project, everything goes very smoothly. They come out as a very ideal match to your personality. But when things are nearing the end, they start to turn into a totally different person. That has happened to me before.
Yes.
I'm confused, but that kind of helped me figure out, hey, sometimes using your head rather than your emotions is the right thing to do.
Yes. No point to get into argument.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we try to resolve the issue, right? If it's a genuine issue, then there is a way to resolve it. Yeah.
Because if you look at it, money is not just dollar values, right? It's not just 100 cents makes a dollar. It's the energy and intention behind the money. For example, you would rather receive, let's say, $100 and someone saying, thank you for all that you have done for me. I appreciate what you have done. Rather than someone's like, hey, you know what? I actually didn't want to pay you, but here is the $100. You can feel, right, the difference. Yeah. Some people can argue that maybe a crunched up $100 note and a new one are the same value. But to me, that intention behind the money is just as important.
Because, I mean, it's long term, right? It's not just about the initial monetary gain.
Of course, when we receive these words of appreciation, we know that we've done something right. And we can continue to do better work.
Correct. And a lot of it also is their feedback, testimonials that keeps us going, and right. So sometimes it's quite amazing how some people, the way in the similar industry, I am not sure how they do it for so many years, right? When they do not really value the client's feedback.
Yeah, we have definitely people like that. But you can see over time, over the years, the growth kind of stagnates. And you start to blame everyone else as that. Looking inward and figure out what's wrong with what they're doing. I mean, acknowledging the problem is the first step. Right? Changing oneself is the second step. Right? And third is being consistent.
We try our best. Right? We try our best.
Yeah, I think generally what helped me over these past 3 years is introspection. We always try and think of how we could have done things better. Whether certain situations, that undesirable results, was it part of our doing? But more often than not, it is. It is. Even not being able to filter is the biggest problem.
Yes.
But we also face the challenge of, hey, we don't want to be so critical about other people. Maybe I'm looking at it wrongly.
So as far as possible, we also, maybe the client don't like us. So it's two ways, right?
Yeah. Fortunately. So if you would never step foot into this industry, what do you think you would have done?
What would I have done if I wasn't doing this? It will still be sales related. On hindsight, right? I find a person out of school, right? The first job should be sales related. Because actually, if you really narrow it down, right, everything in our life is sales related. About selling ourselves, selling our image, selling our character. If you really look at it that way, so why not start earning? Instead of being desk bound and in the office. Even nowadays, also you see with all the online sales, it's all about sales. This whole world is about sales, and sales is unlimited compared to office fixed salary job.
But do you agree that not all sales are the same sales?
Of course.
So either you're just selling a service, a product, or you're selling money as a product itself. And there are even different personalities of a salesperson. So we all attract a different market. Do you agree?
Of course, I fully agree. There are so many aspects of sales and what you're selling, but the underlying thing is actually all the same. And in sales, as a salesperson, what value can we add to our client's life? That's why we're selling them something. Not for the sake of the commission, not for the sake of the monetary gain. It's about what can the client benefit. So in a way, it's a kind of a service. Whether you're this particular product or this service of yours benefits that person. So that's where true sales really is. Not just about selling something.
I always believe that saying that you should sell what you have bought before. Then you understand how the customer experience should be all about.
I think what you say makes sense, but sometimes, like if you're selling an aeroplane, I may not have bought one before. Right? But try to empathize. I think it's very important to empathize from the client's perspective. What do they truly need that would benefit them, that would add value to them or add value to their life? Because sometimes we can't buy what we are selling.
So it's very different. Like, for example, if I have a vegetable store, it's not much I can add to your life. Maybe only in price point.
No. Maybe because we have maybe less insecticides, or maybe we know that this is fresher or something, or if it's going to get bad already, I wouldn't want to sell it. So that's where you're different from another vegetable seller.
I would sell everything that I have. Except the absolutely rotten ones that can't be sold.
No, but it can sell, but you got to be truthful about it. You got to be truthful, and so there are people that will want to buy different things. Maybe because of budget, maybe because they want to feed their turtle or something.
Yeah, if sales was the first one, how about your second choice?
Maybe you should marry a rich woman. For yourself, right? What made you come into this line?
Okay, as you can see from this painting behind, I used to do arts a lot when I was much younger. But looking into the future, I think the common topic that art was very discouraged because of being a starving artist and all these things we see on Channel 8 and Channel 5 drama lah. So, my dad is in the construction line. So I thought, why not do something related? I have some guidance. So I went into architecture. And when I went in and I understood the career path from there, that's where I told myself I didn't want to continue being an architect.
Oh.
Yeah. So I came out, I can't be seated down for probably more than 3 hours in front of a computer. I like to be out and about, meeting people, talking to people, making sure the project goes through. So that's how I ended up doing this, design and build. I think this is the most dynamic career that I could have ever picked. Every day you see a different client, a different vendor, different building management, a different set of problems and challenges. I think there's a certain level of ADHD that, kind of stirs that up and makes me happy to do this kind of work. And if I wasn't doing this line of work, I would probably be remotely working. Remotely working, traveling around the world, but I haven't thought of what I would do. But something along the lines of remote work.
Right.
Okay, trends. In the next 5 years, right, what do you think the industry is going to be like now that there's AI all involved?
I think that is the right direction because it's going to cut down a lot of the design. And with AI getting more and more advanced, right? Already you're having AI software that help you to do a 3D model in seconds. I think it can be further improved with more inputs, likes and dislikes and preference and such, that it can generate something more audience specific. Because right now I think a lot of the AI is still a bit general and maybe it's not targeted to the local industry.
Okay, contractor choice. First choice car, what brand?
Practically a Mercedes, but idealistically a Rolls Royce.
Okay. Beautiful. Kopi O Kosong or Hennessy?
Copy C.
So what do you think of the people wearing the heavy belts with the logos? H. Hutton's belt.
I don't know. I wear. I always conceal in my clothing. I don't tuck in and show everybody my buckle.
Generally, we go for the normal clip buckles. Those are classy enough.
No, but it's for myself, you see. Because after all the hard work and sometimes agonizing, it's a reward to myself. And I think shopping is one of my enjoyment.
I always believe that the valuable things are things that cannot be taken away from you, like skills. So like for golf, for example, we both like the sport. You played a lot when you were younger.
Yes. I always considered myself a sporty person in my younger days. Not now. But golf is a game where, yes, I always considered myself a sporty person in my younger days. Not now. But golf is a game where, I don't know, I just can't get it. I can pick up sports very easily. But golf is agonizing. But I like golf. I like the scenery. I like the air. I like the fact that for the next 4 to 6 hours, you don't have to think anything other than the next hole. Yeah.
Okay, we have come to the end of this week's episode. If you like what you have seen, please follow us on our socials. Like, follow, and subscribe. We'll leave our handles in the description below. And then do give some comments on what you'd like to see in future episodes. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.